Hey guys, it's WolfMaiden, and today I'm going to be making a Bicolline list, something that I can look at and sort of gauge where I'm at on my preparations for the Grand Battle at Bicolline. So I'm going to write the list down on pseudo parchment, and you guys can join me. See if you have what you need or you have any suggestions to add to it. Mine's pretty basic, something that was given in our welcome email when we came on board with the Voyage North, but I also added a couple things or modified things. So I hope that it will be helpful for those of you that are looking to go to Bicolline at some point to prepare, or those of you who are willing to share other suggestions and things from your time at Bicolline. Yeah, so I guess let's get started. All right, I have my pen. So I'm using some pseudo parchment paper a friend of mine gave me a while ago. I will link some alternatives below because I don't have the exact link to it. It's been a few years. This was originally for my D&D campaign, but I'm using it now for this. Feel free to actually write your list out along with me. I do lay this out more like it's a project because it sort of was for me. It took a while, and it has a lot of use, both decorative and functionally for me. So the first bit I'm doing in the calligraphy style that I was learning. Even if your list is on some normal notepad paper, I think it'll come in handy a lot. If you needed some calligraphy practice, this could be a way to do it as well. I'm personally only doing the title in calligraphy, so there is that. You could obviously do this for the rest of it if you'd like. I just figured it really would take the most amount of time, and since it's just a list, I figured the header for the list would be better. The choice is up to you, of course. There are so many ways that you could write a list, right? Cursive, in calligraphy, in block letters, whatever you felt like, honestly. You don't have to write everything down from my list if you think that you don't need it, just so you know what you need or what you want to bring. So I took a lot of time to do the title. This is in Carolingian minuscule. The best that I can. I think it came out well. This is an S in the book. I will show you now. Right here. Q, R, and then S. So this S is kind of weird. It's also in minuscule up here. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting style thing. I didn't really do the little, I don't know what to call it, bump any justice there, as you can tell. But I did the best I could, and I think it looks pretty neat. So now that that's out of the way, I'm going to quickly change out my, oh, I'm running out of ink too. I'm going to change out my pen nib for the refined bit, the one that is this is the comparison. This one will help me do a lot finer of a job so that I'm not wasting space on my paper. So there's several categories of things. A lot of these, if you go with the Voyage North, will be on the welcome email. I almost forgot right before that to line my paper so that the spacing would be even and words wouldn't end up diagonal and taking up more space. So I pulled out a ruler and made a middle point, and then I think it was a couple centimeters less than an inch that I did on my paper. And while it's not exactly perfect, it's good enough that I didn't end up having any diagonal words or anything that I didn't want. I suggest you also do this too if you care about the way that your list looks, if you're going to put it up. Otherwise, just use your notepad paper and you don't have to worry about this step. This is becoming quite the project. So now I have, oh no, it happened again. This always happens to me. This paper doesn't absorb the ink so well, but yeah, so there's a little smudge now. All the care I just took into this. Okay, well, that's fine. So the most important things to bring to Bicolline are probably clothing. Since you're going to be there for 7 days, you need to be sure that you have the proper amount of clothing. One of the bigger things of importance was a hat of some kind. I have several things to wear on my head now. I have mostly head scarves for when it's really sunny and the sun will be beating down and whatnot. I also ordered a longer veil, something that they might wear in a medieval period to cover my hair and everything. But yeah, something in decorum to wear over your head for sun protection would be perfect. Next, something to wear to the showers or to bathe in the river, a indecorum swimsuit or something. An indecorum swimsuit, robes, and shoes. So sandals that aren't super plastic and bright colored will probably be a good choice. You don't want some outlandish color or material that is very obviously modern to be ruining your outfit, really. For the swimsuit, basically it's recommended to just have neutral colors. Obviously you can wear a regular bathing suit from our time. That's not an issue. So just wear something neutral colored, a white, a gray, black, a brown, some greens, something like that. Maybe you have like little fake leaves on them or something like that to make it look cute. You can really specialize it the way that you prefer. So next, a warm cloak. This one was something that was told to me as something really, really important. It's not only clothing for everyday wear, especially at night. Apparently it gets pretty cold. And I'm from California, so I get colder. But a warm cloak will also double as a blanket. You need to bring your own blankets. So a nice wool cloak will do you good in that regard. Not only is it warm and waterproof, it also has a little bit of weight to it if it's made of wool, and so it'll double as a nice blanket. So next, general clothing for 6 days. So being at Bicolline, this is a big one. You're going to need shirts and skirts, or dresses or pants and shirts, tunics, surcoats, whatever you need as clothing. If you need like an everyday sort of wrap, if you get cold easily, maybe it'll be raining heavily. I've heard that it could rain throughout the week multiple times during the day. You have something to cover your shoulders and stuff for that everyday sort of rain, whether light or a little bit heavier. So you need decorum, comfortable, breathable clothing. You're gonna get sweaty, you're gonna be running around, you're gonna be doing things, unless you're just sitting in camp the whole time. But in lieu of that, you need something that you can sweat in, that you can live in. And so you wanna make sure that your clothing is a decent enough quality to facilitate that. A fancy outfit or two is recommended. There are events there that you probably want to be more dressed up for. So this is something that's on the list because of that. It can be included in your clothing for 6 days and 7 nights, and you just wear your fancy outfit that one day, and that'll work. But if you want to be prepared, obviously you can take more than just the 6 days, 7 night clothing, because you could potentially run through some clothing because of sweating during battle. So take some extras if you're worried about it. More than one pair of socks and underwear, for the same reason why you might want to take extra clothes. Things get sweaty. That's the stuff that gets worse the most. And I would even add, obviously, underwear includes this, but it didn't write it expressly. So if you wear bras and stuff like that, you would probably want to take extra of that too, because they will also get sweaty and gross, and you might want to take them off day or night. Maybe you wear some clothes, they get sweaty, you take a shower, you want to wear a different one in a given day. So the extra clothing, the extra socks and underwear come in handy. Socks especially, I think you definitely don't want to take the exact amount of days you're going to be there. Those are probably going to get really bad. You don't want to get blisters because your socks are sweaty and gross. So because of the climate in Canada, waterproof shoes, similar reason why you might want a waterproof or water resistant cloak. is it rains, right? So if it's raining or wet or whatever, stepped in the river or something like that, you want shoes that'll withstand that. If they don't, you want other shoes to be wearing. Otherwise, you might just be sort of stuck in camp as you're drying socks and shoes and things like that. You don't want to freeze or get some sort of blister or just general uncomfortability with wet socks and wet shoes. Slip-on shoes. These are important if you want to go to the bathroom quickly and you don't want to lace up your boots or you're put on a bunch of buckles and things like that. So slip-on shoes will help a lot. You'll be able to get up out of bed easy and slip them on and go to the bathroom, take a shower, do whatever you need in a given morning or night if you're getting up in the middle of the night and that kind of thing. I'm sure flats for women is probably like a really easy one. Any like imitation leather things that don't have zippers and stuff on them that you can kind of slide into for men will work too. I know there's a lot of things that look like leather that men can slip into, so there's that. Some good solid boots for when you're on the field, in battle, in the forest, walking on rougher terrain. That'll make sure that you don't roll your ankles and kind of protect your foot. So if you run onto something, you're not tripping, spraining, or breaking or hurting anything on your foot. You've got shoes that'll sort of protect you from those sort of injuries. This on the welcome email also stated that military boots with spats covering them is a popular choice, a good choice. I bought mine from Thursdays, and I will link that down below. That is where I found a lot of boots that I specifically got captain ones. They are really nice for everyday wear. They're beautiful leather shoes, good quality. And yeah, wearing them around and going to Ren fairs and stuff, and that one, I went to one Ren fair so far. They're heavier, on the heavier side, more for protection for like trekking and stuff like that, or going through rougher terrain. But also great for every day just because they look so good. Probably not to wear it on at an all-day thing unless you need the protection for your feet. But otherwise, yeah, they're good solid shoes. Next we have other necessities. A tankard, a mug, or a cup, something that you can use and bring with you. Tankard is being the better choice because you can hang it from your belt and bring it with you everywhere. But these will help you be able to go and drink things from your own mug. If somebody offers you a drink, you can be like, yeah, here you go, I got my tankard right here, and you're all ready to go. Otherwise, if you have a way to carry a cup or a mug on you, backpack or something like that, or you have a different modified strap for it, then yeah, you can definitely use those to also do the same thing or similar thing. Next is bug spray. The mosquitoes and other things are going to be around. Bug spray is pretty self-explanatory. Bring it or cover up more. Sunscreen. This one's pretty self-explanatory. If you tend to burn or you're not covering up your head and things like that, and even if you are, you know, if you have your arms exposed and whatnot, you might want sunscreen to protect yourself. Your field kit would be your next thing. It's your armor and clothing. Your field kit is your armor and clothing for battle. Whatever you need to survive combat, that's what's going to be in your field kit. If it's armor or the clothing that you need in order to not die under your metal armor or something in the heat, that kind of thing. Linen is really good for a breathable fabric to protect you from heat, especially under even warmer clothes. Like if you wore wool and then linen inside, you won't get as hot than if you just wore wool without the linen under. Next is a sleeping bag. Pillow. And blankets. With the voyage north, you get a cot to sleep on, but you need to bring something to put on that cot. So you would bring your sleeping bag, something rated for cold weather, pillow, something you want to lay your head on, right? And then blankets to keep you warm. And this goes back to the wool cloak up here. If you use your wool cloak as your blanket, for example, because packing things is going to be a whole ordeal in itself. I would also say bring, this isn't on the welcome list, but I would say bring a indecorum bottle something that you can kind of cap off, drink from. There are trails, and if you decide you want to go walking and things like that, or even on the battlefield, I think water is a huge necessity, and you want to stay hydrated, so an Indecorum water bottle would be perfect. You don't always have to wear these things on you if you plan on being in a tavern during the day and there are things already readily available there for you. Under good to haves, a basket. A basket to carry toiletries. A basket to carry toiletries, dinnerware, and shop with. Or having like little canvas bags or something I think might be fine. Something with like netting, like jute net things, because it'd be hard to transport. I think a basket is easier to bring if you're not flying in, but since I'm flying in, I would need something that I could actually fit in my suitcase, and so some net type of bag where I could hold things, produce in, for example. But that's just me. If you're able to bring a basket, I think it'd be a good idea. A belt with pouches. I think a belt with pouches is probably one of the bigger necessities in LARP. You need something in Indecorum to hold everything, and the weight distribution of a belt versus like the strain that you might have from a backpack is probably better. I would actually probably place this more in other necessities than good to have as a belt with pouches, but yeah, that's up to you. Under that, I'm probably gonna say a backpack. This one's more extra. I think a backpack can carry a lot more things, especially if you're planning on, I don't know, carrying everything with you. Maybe you have journals and this and that, and like you're not going to purchase a new pouch or carrying thing for your belt for every little thing that you have. Maybe you're like, I want to carry my toiletries in a backpack. I don't want to carry it in a basket. I don't want to be so open about what I have on me. Like I want my wallet in my bag at all times. I want this, I want that. And just always at your back, you put your water bottle in there, your tankard in there, everything in there. Then that sort of negates the need for a belt with pouches. So there is that. So backpack is a viable option for carrying things. It will probably create some strain on your back though. I don't recommend this. I think a belt with pouches is more reasonable. Bring what you need on you. And a backpack is more if you want everything on you or a lot of things on you, or you plan on buying things and you don't have a basket, that kind of stuff. But just a backpack for those moments of carrying things or concealing things even, so. So a scabbard or a sword or dagger frog would probably be high up there also. If you get a belt, you have your pouches, you need a scabbard to carry your sword. It's not necessary, which is I think why it's good to have, because you could technically carry your sword into battle and whatnot. But if you're looking to make sort of a rough and tumble type of look, or just, you want your sword at your side, then yeah, scabbard or a sword frog would be perfect. Or just, a dagger frog if you just want to bring a dagger in. A Decorum light source, like a little torch, LED torch, or glow-in-the-dark jewelry maybe. They probably won't produce as much light and things like that though. They have put lights all around the town now, so I don't know how much of a necessity this would be to have, but having one means that it can go off a lot more. Look at things closer in the dark, right? And we can't just have flashlights out. So that is something to keep in mind as a thing to get. Something they also recommend is rope. Rope for a clothesline for your clothing is something that is listed. I assume you need to dry things off, that kind of thing. It happens. I don't know if I would bring one personally, but it's there as an option and something to think about. Some popular ideas. Musical instruments. A period game, like dice, cards, tiles, something to share with and play with other people. A fan, a parasol, snacks, and booze. A fan, you're concerned about the weather, or you just, you want to flirt with it. You got a fan as an idea. A parasol which just, I think, more sun protection really, and you know, part of a character. Snacks and booze to share. I don't know if flying in there will be much ability to bring too many snacks or booze, but I'm sure you can kind of like stow something away, bring something, right, that doesn't require it to be kept, you know, and refrigerated or something like that. So cookies or something. And the next thing, plastic tubs or bags to help keep things from getting too damp. I guess it must happen enough that people do that to keep things from getting wet. So yeah, this is the list. Minor correction, the list includes more things. I added towels to the list because this is something that they didn't already put on it, but is something people forget about. You need towels to wash your face and other body parts. If you're going to the showers or especially the river, you need biodegradable shampoo and soap if you're bathing in the river specifically. And this is just a suggestion, indecorum sleepwear. If you're so inclined, you get a nightgown or some period undergarments or something that you can just wake up in and sort of be able to go outside and it's not a huge deal decorum wise or something like that. I also added weapons to the suggestion of a field kit because I forgot to originally write that on there. And yeah, so this is the actual finished list. So far, I might add to this in the future based on suggestions from you guys. I will probably be putting this list up on a wall and sort of using it as a check off. Do I have this? Do I have that? And you can do a similar thing. Write this down on a notepad or something, get fancy with it, do some calligraphy. And yeah, this is the Bicolline list. There are plenty other things that people bring or you might have an idea for. If you want to share what you've brought to Bicolline for the Grand Battle, feel free to do that in the comments below. If you have any more suggestions for the list, just something that people can kind of scroll down, look at your comment and be like, oh yeah, no, that's a good idea. Totally put that in the comments below. And yeah, let me know what else should make it on this list. And that was the list that I made. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any suggestions for what to add to it, please feel free to do so. You can tell me stories about things that you've brought or stuff that you found useful that you brought, whatever you feel like. I am more than happy to get advice and suggestions for things that I should maybe consider bringing. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed and I hope to see you in the next video.